This video is brought to you in collaboration with wowhead.com. Hello everyone. Following the events in Nazjatar, the siege splitting up, Alliance and Horde losing a whole lot of troops, and then dealing with Azshara, which then resulted in the release of the old god Nazjatar. Here we have patch 8.2.5, which brings us the conclusion of the war campaign. Together we stood against Azshara, and together we shall stand against warchief Sylvanas Windrunner, who's taken the Horde in a direction not all agree with.
Anduin, Sylvanas' actions have threatened us all, and day by day, her power grows. If our world is to survive, we must strike while we still can. Meet with me, and we will speak.
So few.
How many can you provide?
Enough for one final assault. If that fails, we're done. If we end her reign, what kind of warchief will you be?
The Horde I joined was birthed in blood, tainted by corruption. The road that led to the Dark Portal was long and wide, paved with the bones of innocence. We called it the Path of Glory. That was the great lie upon which the Horde was founded. That anything we did was honorable. Thrall, Vol'jin, they were not the true heirs to Blackhand's bloody legacy. Sylvanas Windrunner is.
No. No, this is the Horde. Led by you. Someone who has
Honor. I've never known honor. They deserve more. But the Horde is doomed to be shackled by the chains of the past.
The Horde has no exclusive claim to regrets. Arthas, Dalen, the ghosts of the past haunt us as well.
We could not fill the chasm between the Horde and Alliance if we labored 1,000 years. You know this.
Then what are we fighting for?
Soldiers, on your feet!
Start breaking camp immediately!
Lord Saurfang?
Zakan, where is our home?
Orgrimmar?
Not our city. Our home.
Azeroth.
And ours?
Azeroth.
Right now, there are only two forces in this world that matter. One bent on harming our world.
And one that will protect her.
So, what are we doing?
Breaking the cycle.
A really cool conversation, reminiscing on the path that both factions walked on, and how it almost seems impossible to bridge a gap between these two forces. Despite some trying very hard to get some kind of peace going, time and time again, we see that faction war rise up and take the stage. A lot also wonder if this means we'll see the end of factions altogether, and nothing's impossible of course, but if you ask me, I'd say that story-wise, they can definitely do this. Think back to, for example, Legion, where we focus more on working together within our order halls, rather than based on the Alliance and the Hordes. Something like that could definitely play out, but I wonder if the game itself, if it offers the possibility to do this. There are some mechanics, like mounts, reputations, capital cities, just the system, the core system of the game, stuff that while in an RTS setting, you might see a massive shift. In this MMORPG, it might be a little bit more difficult. Not to mention that faction pride is definitely still a thing. Some would hate for their beloved Alliance and Horde to just disappear, but again, nothing's impossible. But for the story right now, we know that Varrock Saurfang, he initially joined Sylvanas on her plans of conquest. She was able to convince him that time, it breaks all bonds. Yes, they might be able to get a peace going with King Anduin leading the Alliance, but who knows how long that would last. It was much better to take care of the enemy once and for all to secure a future for the Hordes. Plans were made to strike down the leaders of the Night Elves, while also occupying Teldrassil and prevent the Alliance from retaliating. Plans that didn't exactly work out. Despite having Malfurion right where she wanted him, Sylvanas, she decided not to take the kill. Instead, she told Saurfang to do it, but the old soldier, he could not, as it was not an honorable way. Empty-handed, he returned to the warchief, who then decided to inflict the blow that the death of a leader was supposed to cause by burning down the tree. Burn down all those still stuck inside. Genocide of the Night Elves. That's the way it's been described. And since they didn't have Teldrassil, the Alliance, they were free to retaliate. The Siege of Lordaeron saw Sylvanas push Saurfang ever further, until the old orc, he couldn't take it anymore. This was not the Horde as he envisioned it. This was not their way. Left behind, he tried to find his honorable death in battle. Instead, Anduin, knowing about Saurfang, he decided to imprison him, and together they set out on the path of saving the world from the Banshee Queen. A road that took Saurfang to Outland, where he managed to recruit Thrall to join their cause.
You and I, we don't get to hide.
Meanwhile, Bane Bloodhoof, he felt very similar about Sylvanas, but for the sake of his people, he did decide to stick around. When his warchief finally decided to resurrect Derek Proudmoore and turn him into a weapon. Derek Proudmoore, Jaina's brother, who died defending the world against the first Horde invasion. The Tauren, he could no longer just go with it. Time and time again, Sylvanas brought dishonor to their faction. And so it was that he liberated Derek and brought him back to Jaina. Some heroes amongst the Horde, they remained ever loyal to the warchief though. She was well aware of what was going on behind their back. So Bane, he's imprisoned, only to be liberated by Saurfang, Thrall, Jaina and Shaw. Now they make ready to break this cycle and stand together for the fate of Azeroth. Yet those champions that stayed loyal to the warchief, they are still around.
Ah, champion. Ever the loyal soldier.
Nothing escapes the gaze of our Dark Rangers. They've been keeping an eye on Saurfang and Thrall after they let them escape. And they're well aware that they now conspire with our sworn enemies. Orgrimmar must come together and rally its forces to make ready for a siege. Time to talk to those still loyal to the Horde, like Overlord Azshara, leader of the Mak'gorah orcs, who were recruited from an alternate reality. It's very nice to see that while you're moving about the city, many of the citizens, they're actually discussing the current situation. Is it the right call to stick with the warchief? Who's to blame for all of this? Should they perhaps side with Thrall that abandoned them to Garrosh? Or perhaps side with Saurfang, who's branded a traitor? Or just ride it out and see where all of this goes? Or perhaps they don't even have a choice anymore. As adventurers trying to portal to other continents, they find out that the portal area has been closed.
Move it, you mooks! Make like the war chief and burn those files!
Gallywix is also still hanging around, but not for very long. He's doing some very important paperwork, but the warchief's mechs, they're ready to go. And last but not least, we talk to Eitrigg, who we know has been having secret meetings with Saurfang. He actually shows up in the cinematic. Now a quick death, it would be far too lenient of a punishment for this treachery. We confront him on his deeds, and the old orc, he's actually happy to no longer have to lie. We're even offered one last chance to come with him, to leave this madness behind and stand with Saurfang. Those of us that stick to their choices and remain with the warchief, we must fight Eitrigg and bring her back chained and all to Nephanos. Meanwhile, over at the Rebellion, the other two Windrunner sisters, Illyria and Verissa, they have some thoughts about their sister.
May you die in battle
King Rin.
against a hated enemy.
Of course.
Our sister is patient. She knows we have precious few soldiers left. While we lay siege to Orgrimmar, she will whittle away our numbers. But Sylvanas is not the only threat we face. The old god has been freed. I can hear his whispers, sense his unseen tendrils writhing all around us.
I know, Illyria. What are you suggesting?
Sylvanas commands what may be the only army capable of defeating Nazjatar. For the sake of Azeroth, perhaps we should stand aside and let her.
Your sister will not fight for us, Illyria. When Sylvanas realized the war was on the cusp of ending, she lured both fleets into Azshara's hands. Not to find victory, but to meet death.
In the end, death claims us all. Eitrigg told me those were among the last words Sylvanas spoke to Vol'jin.
We cannot wage two wars. Sylvanas must fall. Here. Now. Before all is lost.
It shall be so, my king. Varisa and I will scout her line for weaknesses. Good luck to all of us.
A Windrunner reunion was requested by fans for quite a while, and we kinda got a wish granted within the comic. Sylvanas actually had her rangers ready and waiting for an ambush to take her sisters out, but in the last moment, she decided not to go through with it. In the end, they'll all serve death. In the end, they will all serve me. Emotions shown by the Banshee Queen, which was quite interesting to see. As for Illyria, she has taken in the powers of the Void, and she now leads the other Void Elves. It constantly whispers to them, like when she saw Sylvanas, it told her that she is dangerous, a threat, and must be ended. She seeks the death of all things, all possibilities, save the world and murder her. You might wonder, if the Void wants Sylvanas gone so badly, perhaps that their plans are not that bad. To that, I would compare it to Sargeras and the Burning Legion. He too was fighting against the Void. He tried to prevent their plans of corrupting a slumbering titan, but his course of action, it would have meant the destruction of us anyways. It's possible that what the Banshee Queen is doing, it might work against the goals of the old gods, but the methods that she deploys, they're still not in the best interest for all of us. So Illyria's connection to Nazjatar, it's quite strong, and with the old god released, the whispers only became louder. Who knows how that might play out in the future. But in this very moment, we need to clear out the canyon, we need to clear out a path for our forces to reinforce the vanguards. We see Tinkmaster Overspark and Gaslow. They're continuing their cooperation beyond just Mak'gorah, and their invention makes our trip to the gates of Orgrimmar a whole lot easier. In the meantime, the Loyalists, they've been working hard to prepare themselves. Citizens are ready to take up arms, while any propaganda spreading all manner of lies is removed from the streets. Any citizen that has a problem with that, they're put to the sword, while the siege engines waiting outside are sabotaged with bombs. The rebellion is aware of the sabotage. They make sure to remove any suspicious crates, while also slaying any suspicious technicians or loyalist assassins hiding amongst their ranks. Another hiding and watching the events play out, there will be one of Raphion's agents. The Black Prince is always keeping an eye on things.
Gen, we need you and your best soldiers to flank the city from the western gate.
And leave you here unguarded with them? If I wanted to harm him, I'd have done it in the stockades.
No one knows Orgrimmar's defenses better than Saurfang. We need to trust each other if we are to succeed.
Very well. But the Banshee is clever. Dividing our forces might play right into her hands.
Varrock has defended Orgrimmar's gates for many years now, and knows that the weakest point in their defenses, there will be the many entranceways, so we need to divide our forces and deploy them strategically. And let's not forget, the Bane put a big target on Thunderbluff and himself. We'll also need to spare some of her troops to the defense of the Tauren.
First Arcanist, we are to shield our forces from magical assault as they lay siege to the city.
A wise decision. We can do so more effectively from higher ground. Lord Admiral, might I ask about the spellcraft you employed at Lordaeron? The levitating warship?
Would you believe me if I told you it was a Koltiran trade secret?
Summoning the ship, perhaps. But as for the enchanted cannons...
We find strength in the Horde, so we are to strike from the north. A sound plan, but there is no telling what treachery Sylvanas has in store for us.
She fought beside you for many years, both in life and in undeath. You must know her well.
Perhaps I did, long ago. But now... Our forces are few in number. We must make use of the surrounding terrain when we assault the gate.
The Sentinels have made use of that terrain for millennia. Our knowledge of the land was old when the Farstriders were young.
Yes, of course.
High Mountain stands. There is little my Eagle Riders can do while Sylvanas controls the skies. But we can still defend Thunder Bluff. G is already there, tending to Bane's wounds. He said he has seen Orgrimmar under siege once before, and does not wish to relive it. We will stand beside our Tauren kin, and await further orders from Saurfang. Earth Mother watch over us all.
That bit about G Firepaw that refers to the time of Warchief Garrosh and the siege of Orgrimmar. Back then, they kicked the absolute crap out of him. They nearly took his life in order to get information about some Pandaren artifacts. Luckily for him, we showed up in time to save his life, and it seems like he remembers those days vividly. Most of us do. As this moment, and most of the story to be honest, it makes it look like history is doomed to repeat itself. A Siege of Orgrimmar 2.0. All the same, our preparations are complete. Let us pray that we all survive the second Siege of Orgrimmar.
Varrock, it's time.
Those who defend Orgrimmar are Horde as well. Our brothers and sisters.
These warriors have sworn to fight. For you. Many lives will be lost.
Or perhaps just one. Sylvanas Windrunner! I challenge Mak'gorah!
A traitor leading traitors. Why should I accept your challenge?
You want to make me suffer.
Brother, you cannot win.
My old friend. You and I.
We don't get to hide.
I set you on this path.
And we knew where it could lead. Walk with me. The rest of the way. Let it be finished.
The High Overlord falls. I trusted you. And so did they. Death comes, old soldier. And all their hope dies with you.
You cannot kill hope. You tried at Teldrassil. You failed. Hope remains. You set us to kill each other at Lordaeron. You failed. Here we stand. You just keep failing. The Horde will endure. The Horde is strong.
The Horde is nothing! You are all nothing!
For Azeroth!
If you could see yourselves as I see you, toy soldiers in tin plate. Beasts who howl for honor, standing as one. Savor it. Nothing lasts.
What do we do now?
We bring him home.
Both sides were ready for a siege, until Varrock, knowing full well that he could not win the fight, he steps up for a Mak'gorah. I love how he carries Charlemagne, representing both the Alliance and the Horde in one single fighter. Some of you wondered if being able to split up the blade, if that only happens moments before your death, or can only be done by a super duper special kind of being, but nothing that I know of suggests that those rules are in place. It just appears to be an ability that the blade holds, but who knows what they might do with it in the future. Now his words and actions, they caused the Banshee Queen to have her emotions get the better of her, and now what we knew for quite a while is open to the public. Sylvanas does not care about the Horde as a whole. She cares about her own plans and used them to get what she wanted. Even her Forsaken were once described from arrows in a quiver to her bulwark against the infinite.
Regent Lord, what manner of magic did Sylvanas use against Saurfang?
I had hoped either you or Thalyssra would have the answer to that question. I have never seen her wield such power.
It was unlike any magic I have ever encountered. I could sense none of it, even in her presence.
Then she must have only recently acquired it, or simply waited until now to reveal it.
Either way, it does not bode well for us. Whatever she is planning, she no longer needs the Horde to achieve it.
Power levels in the story, they've always been a bit fluid, and more so depending on what the story requires. Having Sylvanas able to hold off such a massive blow from Saurfang, while in, for example, War Crimes, she remembered how someone like Bane could snap her arm like a brittle twig. The rule of cool often surpasses what would make sense. Now that said, Sylvanas has been doing a whole lot of things that we're not aware of. Who knows what kind of power she has gained over the years, what kind of deals she's made to further her goals. She apparently feels like the Horde is no longer required for her ultimate plans. Well, not even these experienced spellcasters, not even they can tell us what power she actually used in battle. We'll talk a bit more about the possibilities in just a moment. Let's first recall our troops, as Gendon and Worgen, they're still waiting out there, unaware of what has happened.
We will have justice for the Saurfang is dead, and Sylvanas has escaped. This is no victory. I care not who leads the Horde, or if they tear each other apart. All that matters is slaying the Banshee, and we have missed our chance.
The King of Gilneas lost everything to Sylvanas, and now his vengeance has been taken away from him. You might have also noticed how Tyrande Whisperwind and Malfurion Stormrage, how they're not present on the battlefield. Anduin tells us that she hasn't been answering her messages ever since she left for Darkshore. Tyrande has also lost everything to the Banshee Queen, and he fears that she lost herself to vengeance. We can only hope that this will finally lead to a bit more infighting amongst the Alliance, since they're in desperate need of a bit more bite. Now on the Horde side, you of course don't talk to Greymane. Instead, you let the recovering Bane within Thunderbluff know what exactly happened to Saurfang.
It pains me to remain here, while others fight on the front line.
You have done more than your part, Bane. Focus on your recovery.
Champion, has the battle been won? We are stronger together. Saurfang, he risked his life to save mine, and gave his life to save the Horde.
Go, champion. We will meet you in Orgrimmar to honor the memory of Varrock Saurfang.
Varrock Saurfang, son of Koruk, supreme commander of the might of Kalimdor, High Overlord of the Horde. He led the charge against the Lich King. He defended our world from the Legion. Saurfang inspired all of us to strive for true honor, and his legacy will live on in our deeds.
When the Alliance and Horde marched on Mak'gorah, it was Saurfang who valiantly commanded our combined forces. Today, his courage saved thousands of lives on both sides of the battle. His sacrifice will never be forgotten.
You have earned your warrior's death, old friend. Now, greet your son with honor and glory.
And so ends the war campaign, leaving the Horde without a warchief, the Forsaken without a leader, and the world without one of its greatest heroes. It's very nice to see that the aftermath of all of this is actually represented within the city. There are many different dialogues that are popping up amongst the population about what has happened, trying to mend the rift between those that remained loyal with the warchief and those that sided with Saurfang. Forsaken that now feel completely abandoned, while others, they hold out hope that this is all part of a major plan.
Victory for Sylvanas.
Players that decided to stick with Sylvanas, you can actually talk to Eitrigg, the orc that you just beat up and put in chains. He doesn't hold our choice against us. We each did what we thought was right, and we're going to leave it in the past. What matters now is how we reunite the Horde, and this is how we start. Break the cycle, which is all fine and dandy for those that want to side with the rest of the Horde, but some amongst us will remain ever loyal to the Banshee Queen. Dark Ranger Lanara was given instructions in case things played out this way. A cracked Hearthstone takes us all the way to the Ghostlands, to the Windrunner Spire, former home of the Windrunner family.
As do I, Dark Lady. But when the time comes, there can be no hesitation.
There won't be. Safe journey, Nathanos.
Safe journey, my love.
Serve the Horde. Champion. I wasn't certain you made it out of Orgrimmar. If the traitors knew of your service to me, they'd have put you in irons. Or worse. Saurfang's ill-considered challenge may have ended the war prematurely, but it doesn't matter now. Countless souls have been fed to the hungering darkness. Though I cared nothing for the living, I did pity the Forsaken, for the great injustice that made them what they are. I understand the cruelty of fate better than anyone. But despite all I taught them, they stubbornly clung to hope, to life. They will learn the truth, along with all the rest. My bargain with Azshara will yet bear fruit. The armies of Azeroth will fight her master, and he will line their streets with corpses. In the end, he too will serve death. Enough reflection. There are preparations to be made. Nothing lasts. When next you see me, you will understand.
I love this choice system they added, knowing full well that at some point the story has to line up, but choosing a specific path can lead to such a massive lore bomb and inside information you otherwise wouldn't obtain. I just love it. The response that I saw to Nathanos declaring his love to Sylvanas was amazing to see. And honestly, it's really cool to see that these undead characters, they still hold on to the feelings that they had in life. If you read his short story, then you already knew that Nephanos, unlike Sylvanas, he wouldn't mind spending the afterlife in eternal damnation if it meant spending that time with his beloved Windrunner. In turn, it does seem like Sylvanas also still has those feelings, more so than she wants the world to know. The bit about the Forsaken clinging on to hope and life, that calls back to the events of the novel Before the Storm. In it, we see an attempt at reuniting the undead with the living, and ending in failure. Some of the Forsaken, they did not want this day to end, so they asked Kalia Menethil, sister to Arthas Menethil, to stand with them, lead them to the Alliance, and abandon the Banshee Queen. This did not sit well with Sylvanas, of course. All of the Forsaken, those that tried to run, as well as those that tried to come back to her, they were shot down. Kalia was also killed, but her body was brought back to the Netherlight Temple, where Anduin, together with Alonzus and the Narus Ara, they brought her back, not exactly to life, not exactly as a Forsaken, but as something else, an undead being of the light. We now also have confirmation that the events in Nazjatar, that they were part of a bargain between Azshara and Sylvanas. This connection most likely came to be when heroes of the Horde, they brought the empty blade, Xal'atath, Blade of the Black Empire, they brought it back to the warchief. Upon touching it, her eyes darkened, and plans were put in motion. Where first, Azeroth would change everything for the warfare. Obtaining the Blade of the Black Empire, it once again shifted her ideas. This also explains how Ashvane showed up to fight for Team Azshara. Last we saw of her was entering a secret meeting with the warchief. Then time passed on without any real information. And then all of a sudden, she showed up in Nazjatar, now working with the Naga. It does of course lead to the question as to what comes next for us and Sylvanas. Now all things seem to be pointing towards finding us off in the next patch. And after that, the sky's the limit. At this point in time, the motivation that we have for Sylvanas, that's simply staying alive. Seeing hell and eternal damnation waiting for her, it has pushed her over the years. Pushed her to become more and more like Arthas the Lich King, like the thing she hated so very much.
I dearly hope that there's a special place in hell waiting for you, Arthas.
We may never know, Uther. I intend to live forever.
Time apparently breaks all bonds, but what if you could shackle their minds to your will, like Sylvanas once experienced? That's one path they could take, a journey to become more like the Lich Queen. But as always, the possibilities are limitless. I really can't wait to see what BlizzCon is going to reveal. My personal hope is fighting us off and then losing, having the Black Empire rise up, maybe even a bit of a time skip, so that the entirety of Azeroth can be transformed. This way, we'd no longer be the heroes of legend, we'd just be trying to crawl our way back to some sort of victory, pieces of land to call our own. But that's just a hope, of course. We'll see what comes next soon enough. Now one final bit to finish up the war campaign is a spot of dialogue, which you can find on the Alliance side.
This is how war always ends for us. With blood on our hands, mourning those we lost. No amount of fighting can ever bring them back. The cycle ends when we choose to walk away. I wasn't ready to learn that lesson before. Few may be ready now, but learn it we must.
Derek and Kalia have been hanging out together. He has lived in torment since his awakening, while Kalia has guided him, helped him back from the brink of despair.
Ah, Jaina, what a relief to see you safe.
Hello, Kalia. Big brother.
Word has spread of what happened at Orgrimmar. Is the war finally over?
It will take time for all the pockets of fighting to be quelled, but... yes, I believe so.
Azeroth has seen so many wars, so much strife. I pray we have earned a respite.
As do I. Have you been able to find peace in your own heart, Derek?
I still have some rough seas to sail, but I'm much better now. Thanks to Kalia. Without her guidance, I would have been truly lost.
I'm so grateful you brought us together, Jaina. This time with Derek has helped me as much as it's helped him.
In the wake of this war, others will need to find their footing, their future. Perhaps you could guide them, too.
I'm not sure how much help I could be. I don't have all the answers.
Maybe they don't need answers. Maybe they just need hope. Like I did.
Well said, big brother. Come, let's take a walk. I am so grateful to have you both back in my life. Let's enjoy this moment together.
The Forsaken have been forsaken by the Banshee Queen, and perhaps that gap is going to be filled up by one of the Manaphiles. Another problem with Sylvanas abandoning ship, that will be the way that the Forsaken are created. In the past, it was those that had fallen to the plague and then regained their will, and after the Cataclysm, after her bargain with the Valkyr, Sylvanas started to resurrect herself. Now she's gone, so if they need to find a way to keep the Forsaken going, perhaps the path of Kaalia will be the way to go. I do say perhaps, of course. Again, the sky's the limit. Who knows what they have in mind? That is, however, where the war campaign leaves us. If we follow what all the NPCs tell us, then something with Nazjatar is coming up next. We also have the storyline in which we need to figure out who told Vol'jin to make Sylvanas the warchief and what the reason was. A mentioned boss behind Bonsamdi. Something has been messing with Vol'jin's spirits. Powerful forces working behind the scenes. Can't wait to see it all play out. By all means, let me know what you would like the future to bring, cause that's one thing that excites me the most. Where's the story going to go next? For now though, thank you very much for watching everyone. If you're looking for some more details on all the things that we talked about today, then check out the Layered Wild article in the description down below. You could also subscribe if you like my videos, perhaps even leave a like if you enjoyed this one. And until next time, see ya!